Alright, what's up guys? Finally back making an actual real video this time. I actually already recorded this video, but I kept getting so off topic that it turned into like a 40-minute video. And I know none of y'all want to sit there and watch a 40-minute video with me getting off topic a bunch, and I don't want to go back and edit out a whole bunch of that kind of stuff either. So, I'm going to do one more kind of, at least for now, answering y'all's comments via video instead of just doing it in the comment section style video, and then probably, I don't know exactly where it's going to go. I've got to finish editing up the helicopter ride video that I did. Got some other videos I got to work on of me just going out and actually getting to have a life now that I finally have time and everything to go out and have a life and can actually afford to do so without having to worry about whether I can pay my bills or not. It's one of the great parts about having made it this far into trucking and finally have gotten on with a great company that pays very well for experienced drivers. And I'll be talking about that in upcoming videos too, just kind of the full experience of what I've gone through in trucking to get to the point where I am today and all that kind of stuff. But let's get into answering some of y'all's comments. So Joe Jordan actually sent me a comment after the last time I filmed this video, asking on my more info on leasing with Prime video, what did you see when you looked outside your truck? Inquiring clients want to know. I noticed you looked at whatever it was a few times. Seeing that video was filmed over a year ago, I'm not quite sure. I seem to think that day I was watching a truck driver that clearly was not very good at alley docking, trying to park next to my truck, and I was trying to see whether or not I was going to have to back my truck up to avoid having him take the front end off of it, because I had an empty spot behind me, so I could have just backed up if I really needed to. So that's probably what I was looking at. That's usually what I'm looking at in my videos, is other truck drivers parking and stuff like that, just watching them, because I learned very quickly not to trust that other people actually know how to park properly. I watched too many trucks get hit in truck stops. So until I had somebody parked on both sides of me, I was always sitting there watching, making sure that somebody wasn't going to wreck my truck, so I just didn't feel like dealing with that. But I'm not quite sure. It was over a year ago, and I just don't remember. I'm going to murder this name. Molarois Morais. Cool. On my lease versus company video. Thank you. Rachel Trans Girl, why did you stop making videos? I had just stopped making videos because life got a little bit hectic and I started running out of things to talk about. Still working on figuring out what to transition the channel more towards, because again, I am starting to run out of stuff to talk about. I'll always be happy to answer y'all's questions. And all that kind of stuff. I don't see myself getting out of trucking anytime soon. Finally gotten to a happy place in trucking where I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm making good money doing what I'm doing. I don't dread getting up and going to work. I don't sit there after my days off and go, oh God, I gotta go back to work. I gotta go back out on the road. Don't do that anymore. I actually finally enjoy it and love who I'm working with. For those of y'all who haven't watched the most recent videos, I work for Carvana now, driving a 8 to 9 car hauler, usually 9 cars. We do still have a couple of 8 cars, but they're getting phased out. But I drive them based here in Winder, Georgia, which is a little ways outside of Athens, Georgia. Everybody knows where Athens is because that's where UGA is at. But I operate out of here and go to North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, and then do meets with the Florida drivers, where I drive most of the way down to Florida, meet at a Love's truck stop down in Tifton. We swap keys to trucks. I bring their truck back. They take my truck the rest of the way down to Orlando. So I operate in that area, and it's always out and back runs, where I'm back home every night unless something goes catastrophically wrong with the truck where I can't make it back, or traffic makes it so that I run out of time, in which case Carvana puts us up in a hotel for the night, because we are in day cab trucks and they're not going to make us sleep on the steering wheel, which is very, very nice of them. But I've just been, as I said, I stopped making videos for a while because I ran out of stuff to talk about. Wasn't sure what to transition the channel to. Thakar01 commented on my reply to that saying, I've watched a few of your videos and can tell you're a smart guy with a good head on your shoulders. Thank you. I think the best answer is in your own post. You've had a lot going on in your life. Maybe you can transition the focus towards the life of a successful truck driver instead of just informational mentor videos, and enjoys videos. Thank you. I think I am going to transition more towards that. My life now that I am what I would agree is a successful truck driver. I've made it through the proving yourself phase and into the where I'm actually in a very nice position on the truck driving side. But if there's anything else y'all would like to see on here that would interest you, I'm getting ready to, once I buy a second vehicle, because I'm getting close to the miles. My Audi is leased and I'm getting a little close to the miles because I still drive 50 miles a day to get to work. And when I leased it, I was driving about 10 miles a day to get to work, so I'm burning through miles a heck of a lot faster than I thought I was going to, and I still got almost 2 years left on the lease. So I got to buy a second vehicle, but after that I think I'm going to go back and get my helicopter license. So if y'all are interested in that kind of stuff, I'm going to start this year. I've spent most of my days off on weddings and stuff, but next year I'm going to start using them for more vacations, going out and seeing the country properly this time, instead of from the driver's seat of a truck, go out and actually see the national parks and all the areas where I could not take a truck into, whether it was because trucks were restricted or it just wasn't practical or I couldn't make it there on my and still make the delivery on time. Go back out and see that kind of stuff. So if y'all want to see me go around and do that kind of stuff, let me know. And I think that would actually be part of life as a successful truck driver. I've been to 48 of the 50 states, and I would love to go back and see them properly this time, and now that I have the ability to do that. Yeah, so if I do that, I'll probably bring you all along for that kind of stuff too. But if there's anything else you want to see on here that you think would be interesting, let me know. I'm very open. I want to keep this channel growing. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers now, so I would absolutely love to keep it growing and get it up over there and see how far we can take this channel. I do enjoy making these videos. Yeah, we're at 929 subscribers now, and yeah, so let me know. But yeah, we are going to start getting back into making videos more regularly. Not sure what more regularly looks like, but it's not going to be a 4, 5, 6 month break between videos. Shouldn't even be a month break between videos. Maybe a video a week or every 2 weeks, something like that, or could be more than one in a week. Who knows? Just kind of depends on what's going on at the time. Carvana is much respected in my world. Amen, sir. Best things in life are friends and family. That they definitely are. The most important things in life are definitely friends and family. Brother, I'm a few miles from Winder, Georgia. Share the blessings, sir. Thank you. And my brother, yes, I am here with you watching, learning, so yes. Thank you for all your comments on the Finally Back Made Another Change video, the one where I said I was still alive from a while back. First time I did a long break in the videos. What do I think the best route for rookies is? Since that was on my prime lease versus company video, I'm guessing you were asking, do I think it's best to go lease, owner, operator, or company first? Having driven on both sides now and having started on the lease side, now I've been a company driver with the last 2 companies I've been with, Snyder and Carvana. I would, if I had to go back and do it again, I would go back and do it as a company driver. Get out there, learn the business, get all the little kinks and the learning curve out of your system while they're paying you per mile, not a percentage of the load and all that kind of stuff. A little less stress on you while you're learning and all that, a little less responsibility on you. I would go back as a company driver now. Love it. It's a lot easier. And then if you really like it and you're going to stay out over the road, which I didn't, I'm glad, and I'm loving local life now, being home every night. But if you're going to stay out over the road and you love it, then yes, if you want to have your own business, I would say go ahead and go lease or owner operator. But I would definitely say the best route for a rookie, in my opinion, from my experience, others may disagree with me, but from my opinion and my experience, I would say go company first. And that was from Puggy Pugs. Christopher Harris. When I was at Prime, I didn't have to pay anything down. I finished my lease and didn't renew my lease or opt to buy the truck. I had some family issues to take care of. Sorry to hear that. I got the equity left on it, which was over $9,000. I got that back plus my emergency fund. That was if I had stuck around with Prime for the full 3 or 4 year lease to get out of the truck. Yes, I would have gotten the equity back out of it, even if I chose not to buy it or I chose to leave. Plus, I would have got my emergency fund back. When I left, I actually did get my emergency fund back. That is something that is owed to you. They cannot just decide to keep that. That being said, when I left, I did have to have them transfer that onto my Prime ID card so I could write myself a com check for my emergency fund, because they hold your last paycheck if you leave early like I did, to make sure that nothing comes up with the truck that they have to pull out of your last paycheck, which it turns out apparently something came up with my truck that totaled up to the exact amount of my last paycheck. Kind of convenient, but I don't know, maybe I just got really lucky and had it total up to that and they didn't go after me for anything else. But I did get my emergency fund back because I had them transferred over to my Prime ID and just wrote myself a com check for it instead of letting it sit on that last paycheck. Yeah, Chris Nielsen, whatever. If y'all want to find that one, it's on Prime Inc. Lease versus Company. Have fun with that. Jack Swanson, how many people do you know that have paid for the truck and have the title? I don't know any personally. I know there are some out there with Prime that did lease purchase the truck at the end and have the title for it now and are still driving it around with Prime. I don't know any of them personally, but I did see a couple of those trucks out there. They're marked a little bit differently than the standard Prime trucks. They usually say operated by Prime Inc. instead of having the big Prime sticker on the side, and they'll have whatever their company name is on it instead in the bigger letters usually. Kenneth Pasco, if I can't drive 650 plus a day, I'm guessing you're saying miles, I won't start the truck, and Building Muscle agrees with that. If that's the case, make sure you find a company that has higher governors on their truck than Prime, obviously, because being governed at 65 miles an hour, unless you are out running flat country all day, you're not going to hit 650 miles a day, especially on electronic logs. Can't do the old paper log trick of making your truck seem faster than it actually is, because the electronic logs are very, very hard to tamper with, or so I've been told. But yeah, no, if you're out running miles and all that kind of stuff and getting paid per mile, or heck, even if you're just trying to run as many loads as you can, as fast as you can, yeah, I can see why if you can't run at least 650 miles a day, that would make sense. Kenneth Pasco again, no way in hell would I pay $1,000 a week for a truck payment. You could buy a truck outright and would save $2,000 to $3,000 a month on truck payments. I am fully aware of that. Did not have the credit or the finances to be able to go and buy a truck outright before I went to Prime. Plus, I didn't know whether or not it was something I was actually going to stick with. I went to Prime from car sales. Didn't know much about trucking other than I thought it looked like fun driving something that large down the interstate. So I went and did it, and hey, I'm still around. I toughed it out through the first year, which the first year is definitely tough. You're gonna work your butt off, not gonna make the best money in the industry. You're not gonna be sitting there in your first year probably making 6 figures. You're gonna have to work your way up, prove yourself before you can get on with a company that's paying you really, really good money. But yeah. FLT BDN 87. Wow, I drove 62 for a while, but I don't know if I could do 58. I know I couldn't do 58. Drove me crazy when I was in my PSD phase, because my first PSD trainer was, or my PSD trainer had 2 trainers, one for PSD, one for TNT. Most folks have the same trainer for both. But my PSD trainer had no interest in doing TNT, and after going into TNT and having to sleep in the back of a truck on team, I completely understand why. Sleeping in the back of a truck while it's moving down the interstate, especially in flatbed, is not a fun experience. But yeah, driving that truck only did 62, and when I first started, since it only did 62 on cruise, my trainer wanted me to drive with my foot on the throttle and not use cruise, wanted me to be fully involved, which I understand. When you get on cruise, you kind of get a little laid back and you're not fully focused, you're not fully engaged with the truck. So it took until about the 2nd week before he would actually let me run cruise control and do 62, and driving 58 was miserable. everything's passing you. I swear I got passed by a horse and buggy. Some Amish guy went by me and was just like, dang, he's slow. But yeah, no, driving 62 would have killed me. 65, going back to driving 65 now would probably drive me crazy. When I was with Snyder, the trucks did 63 on cruise or on the throttle. If you drive team, I believe they do 65. And solo is 63. Now that I'm with Carvana, they just turned our governors down a little bit. The trucks now do 66 on the throttle, 72 on cruise, except the 8 cars. The 8 cars are a little different. They kind of just do whatever speed they decide to do that day. But yeah, no, it's much nicer being able to set the cruise at 72 in the Carvana trucks and just cruise down the interstate. I can pass slow moving cars, I can pass pretty much every other truck on the road, and you just get places so much quicker. Or it seems like you're getting there so much quicker just having that extra 6 to 9 miles an hour over what I was used to. Is there a time? Okay, East Coast HVAC tech on my what to expect with truck stop showers video. Glad people are still watching that. That's nice. Is there a time limit for how long you can be in there? Also, are there several at each truck stop? I can imagine 50 or 60 truckers each ripping it up in there. It would get pretty dirty. So all the truck stops I stopped at were large chains truck stops. So TA Petro, Pilot Flying J, Loves. Most AmsBest are pretty good sized truck stops. I think the smallest one I ever stopped at was an AmsBest in New York State, and it had 2 showers that were probably the worst showers I'd ever been in, because there was 2 lights in there, only one of them worked, so it was dark and just cold, and it was whatever. But no, most truck stops, most of the ones I stopped at had between 3 to 30 showers. I stopped at a TA that one time that had 30 different showers in it, and I think the Petro out in Missouri, just over the Oklahoma line in Missouri, on 44, I believe it was, has like 28 showers in it or something like that. But there's not really a time limit. If you're in there for a really long time, the computer tells them to kind of come knock on the door and make sure that you haven't had a heart attack or something. But aside from that, as long as you answer back, no, there's not necessarily a time limit unless they have a sign up saying, hey, you're limited to 30-45 minutes in the shower. But for the most part, no, and they go in there and they clean it after each truck driver, so you're not walking in there and it's just totally nasty. Most of the time they're actually pretty nice showers. Like I showed in the video, they're nice and clean, fresh towels, they don't smell terrible or anything like that. But yeah. Hakeem Mesatui, if I messed up your name, I'm sorry. I'm not by any means a professional at pronouncing names. Hi, thanks for the video. By the way, I like all of your videos. Thank you. I just applied to become a Prime driver. This was 2 months ago, so I'm guessing you've been there for a while, and your videos were really a good help. Thanks a lot. Please tell me what you would have done differently if you're in my position. I would have went company first. Definitely would have went company first. But aside from that, I don't think I really would have done anything differently. I just would have went company instead of going straight into the lease. The extra freedom in the lease was nice, being able to say, I'm not going into New York City, I'm not going in the Rockies in the middle of the winter because I don't feel like dealing with tire chains and all that stuff. Even with that being said, I did get into some pretty nasty weather. Drove into the first nor'easter of the year in 2018, I think it was. I drove into Boston while it was getting pounded by that first nor'easter, and that was interesting because I had about 5,000 pounds stacked 13'6" high on the truck and started out in Pennsylvania in some pretty wicked snow, and then drove into some crazy wind and rain. And when I got there, they refused to unload me, so I had to spend the night in downtown Boston with the truck jackknifes so that if it tried to blow this way, the truck would catch it, and if it tried to blow the truck over, the trailer would catch it. And that was one of the most restless nights I ever got because the truck was just sitting there doing this all night long, and I expected to wake up on my side. But in the end, actually made it through it, and I had the stuff strapped down so tight that it actually stayed put. But yeah, that was interesting. But being able to be leased, I was able to most of the time avoid going into nasty weather in areas and stuff like that, but it really wasn't worth it, since the company drivers ended up taking home more than I did at the end of it when it was all said and done. Jad B, 3 months ago, what was your wheelbase? As I said in the comments, I don't remember. I left Prime back in September of 2018, so I've been gone for just over a year now. But I went on the Freightliner website and looked up the truck I had, and it was either the 116 or 126 inch wheelbase with the 72 inch sleeper. I had the full size condo sleeper. Yeah. Let's see. Eric, oh, come on, computer, don't do that. Eric Ward, you don't need that much money. If you're broke, still come to Prime. You'll be okay. Maybe peanut butter sandwiches and ramen noodles for a while, but you'll be okay. Dang, Eric, you don't think they can even get jelly on that peanut butter sandwich? But no, I did eat a lot of ramen noodles and corn dogs while I was with Prime. Couldn't do the peanut butter. I would have died. That's just me and some other folks, but I am deathly allergic to peanuts and other tree nuts and stuff like that. But I did eat a lot of ramen and yakisoba noodles, and then I figured out that at Walmart you can go in and buy the honey batter dipped corn dogs in packs of like 24, so I get 48 of them, and they fit in my rather large fridge and freezer and that I had in the truck pretty nicely. It held about 48 of those, plus a pack of the Totino's pizza rolls could be wedged in there as well. So I ate a lot of those, and it made it so I only had to stop at Walmart every month and a half to refill on food and stuff. And it was pretty economical doing it that way. That being said, I have not eaten a corn dog since I left Prime. I had more than my fill of corn dogs while I was there. Still eat ramen though. Still gotta love ramen. Mev, I honestly find this is on my TNT program video. I honestly find that process a bit of a bad way to do training. You should both be awake at the same time, because that isn't really training, other than you training yourself and earning the company and trainer more money. I'm looking for the most comprehensive training. Did you feel that the PSD program gave you the skills needed to run on your own? I mean, the TNT way of doing it, since you're usually with the same trainer for PSD and TNT, mine was a little different, as I explained, but I do feel I learned what I needed to be able to drive unsupervised during my PSD program. Having the TNT trainer back there is still training, because during TNT they're teaching you load securement. So if you have a good trainer, they're going to be up while you're securing the loads. They're going to, if you need to ask a question or something's going wrong, they're going to wake up, help you out with it, because, well, it's their truck, the loads are their responsibility, and they're riding in the truck with you. So if the weather's getting really nasty or something like that and you're getting a little uneasy about it, well, it's their life on the line too. They're sleeping in the back of the truck that you're driving. So they are there to answer questions, help with the load securement, help with navigation and basic problems like that, and they're not going to go to sleep and just leave you up there if they don't feel that you know what you're doing. But no, I feel that PSD, I had the skills to be able to go out and drive the truck unsupervised, but I do feel that I needed the TNT phase just to be able to have questions that were inevitably going to come up answered while I was out there on the road. And having somebody else in the truck that was skilled and knew what they were doing and had been doing it for a while back there was definitely a nice thing to have. But yeah. Jeremy Chastain, do not lease a truck from Prime. If you go over the mileage, they're charging you for it, which you are there to run miles. There to run miles to drive a truck. They do, if you go over a certain number of miles per week, they do charge you an excess mileage charge. Most of the time that is going to be on team trucks that you're going to go over that miles. I did go over those miles a few times, which was usually when I'd only run 1 or 2 loads that week, and I'd be doing like a coast to coast run and just running like a crazy person. But yes, you do get technically punished if you drive too many miles in a week, which is kind of a questionable way of doing things. But I guess they look at it as they have to resell the truck afterwards, and the more miles you put on the truck, the more the value diminishes. I don't know. I'm not in that side of it. That is the way that they have done it. And people continue leasing the trucks from them. It is in the contract when you sign it, saying if you go over X amount of miles a week, here's the cost per mile and all that kind of stuff. So if you've got questions about stuff like that and you're going to lease, just read the contract. The contract does lay out every single little thing in it. If you don't like it, go over to the company side. But yeah. Steelers fan 58. I am 57 and thinking of getting my CDL through Prime. Thanks a lot for the information. And then James Guest, I'll be 57 soon, thinking the same thing. Steelers fan 58 was 3 months ago. James Guest was 4 days ago. Steelers fan, I don't know if you went ahead and done that or not. Prime does have a great training program. And the training experience I got with them has allowed me to get where I am today in trucking, so I feel it was a good decision on my part. James, if you're going to do it, great. If you have any questions, obviously feel free to put them in the comments. I'll be glad to answer any questions to the best of my ability. Michael Bateman, you should be able to idle your truck if you're paying for it. I agree completely. On the lease side, I always did get frustrated that the truck, if I'm paying for the fuel and all that, I feel I should be able to idle it for as long as I want. I have a feeling that Prime and most big companies that put idle limits on trucks, including Carvana now. Granted, I'm a company driver now, so it's a little different, and it's a day cab truck, so I mean, I'm not sleeping in it or anything. If the truck is sitting there, I'm usually not inside it, so it doesn't matter. But when I was leasing, I agree I should have been able to pay for it, but I think their argument is on the company side, they should be able to put an idle limit on it. They're paying for the fuel. But on the lease side, I think Prime would have argued that while I'm paying a lease on the truck, they technically still own the truck, at least the way they did it, and they have to be able to resell it. The more hours that are on the engine, the more it's going to be diminished in its value, that kind of stuff. I'm not an economical expert by any means, but I would say that they're probably more concerned about the diminished value on the truck due to just more hours than absolutely need to be on it. Marco Rivera, I saw the picture of your wife on the wall. She is good looking. Yeah, the Sports Illustrated model back on the calendar, they were all very attractive women. They were very easy on the eyes. If one of them was my wife, that would be I would be very proud of myself. But yeah. Sir, are you cross-eyed? You're looking from the left side. We are looking from the left side, and you're looking at us from the right side, and so the recording device must be between, is it? So when I was filming those videos, it was on the front-facing camera off of my phone, which was mounted in a cell phone holder that was hanging from the ceiling in the windshield. So I think with the front camera, it was already a mirrored image, plus, yes, y'all were sitting off to my right-hand side, and I don't know how it looks. I didn't really pay that much attention to it. Those videos weren't edited. I was literally I'd film them on the phone and then go ahead and post them to YouTube, versus this one where it's filmed on a GoPro on a tripod at my desk, and I'll actually, if I need to edit it, will edit it a little bit. Dear God, we're up to 29 minutes already. Rusty Hardman, 3%. Is that supposed to be a beard? Dude, shave that off. Obviously, yes, the beard I did eventually come to realize was not the best look for me. I've been clean shaven for about 2 months now, probably. I finally realized that, yeah, the neck beard was not the best look for me. Had fun with it for a year, didn't know I could even grow that much of a beard, but yeah. But yeah, I think that's going to be all the questions answered for this video, because this video's, according to the timer right now, is just over 30 minutes. But yeah, if y'all have any more questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section below on this video or any of the videos. I check YouTube Studio all the time to see what new comments I get. Plus, I still get few enough of them that I actually get alerts on my phone when y'all comment and subscribe now. Haven't had to turn that off because the channel's growing quickly, but not ridiculously quickly. But yeah, until then, y'all stay safe out there. Let me know what y'all think, what y'all want to see, and any questions you have. And until next time.